Hello, I'm Steve Bailey and I'm here to walk you through Blackboard's Data and Analytics product roadmap. In this short presentation, I'm going to walk you through what's been recently released, what's changed, what's coming up next, and our work in progress on Blackboard's Data and Analytics solutions. But first, allow me to introduce the team that produces these solutions. So both Chris and Artie head up the analytics and data portfolios respectively. Both are relatively new to the team and you'll no doubt be hearing from them directly in future presentations and events. You'll probably know Marcus and me already from other events. Marcus is a senior product manager in the analytics team and I'm the senior product marketing manager for analytics. And as always, when we're talking about the future, we have to show our forward-looking statement that explains that the detail and timing discussed today is subject to change. Now I'd like to start with some recent improvements that have been released in the last few months. But I'll start by taking you back a little further. We first released the developer interface for Blackboard Data at BB World in 2019. And many of you have already used this to run your own queries, extract data, and build your own reports and dashboards to help you make data-informed decisions at your institutions. Now, reporting has been a more recent release and is now available to all eligible clients hosted in the US and EU locations. A new addition to this is the Learning Platform Adoption Report that you can see here, which compares usage and adoption across 2 time ranges for Blackboard Learn, Collaborate, Ally, and Safe Assign. This is a significant milestone in our efforts to provide a more connected platform experience by providing you with data across your learning platform in a single place. Another change I'd like to highlight is a new telemetry table for Learn Ultra course events. This was heavily requested and provides clickstream data on every click in Ultra courses, including files and web links, and also includes device metadata. We're interested to see what you do with this data via the developer interface, so do keep us informed in the community site. Let's take a brief look at what's changed. Now, one thing that clients in different regions keep a close eye on is our current state of regional availability for Blackboard data. These are AWS hosting locations, and in the brackets next to them we've added the client regions usually served by each location. As you can see, at the moment we're a little unbalanced between developer and reporting, and I have some good news about this coming up later. Now let's talk about what's up next. Some of you may remember 21 Days of Blackboard Data, our program to introduce SQL experts to Blackboard data. This was a very successful program and had broad reach, but we identified a number of areas where it could be improved. So we're building a new program called Blackboard Data Explorers. This time, we're focusing on everyday use cases and reusable queries, using a Blackboard data demo environment that's kept up to date with the latest changes. We're also making this much easier for those without SQL skills to get started. We hope to have this available soon, and I'm aware that a lot of people are keen to start this, so you can register updates at the URL here, and we'll let you know as soon as it becomes available. We're also pleased to be working on multi-language support for the reporting interface. You may have noticed that we already have parts of the user interface available in multiple languages, but we're still working on the content of the reports themselves. We expect to have these completed in Spanish before the end of the year, and to roll out reports in additional languages early next year. So let's now move on to the 3 to 6 month view, as I have some exciting updates to share. I'd like to start by talking about the cycle of continuous improvement enabled by Blackboard data. You've probably heard other speakers talking about personalized experiences fueled by data to advance learning. It's an approach where we can use the data generated by people using our SaaS EdTech applications in order to inform and drive new experiences within these applications. These new experiences for your students and instructors will in turn generate more data that can help us to optimize these experiences, whilst providing additional data points to your SQL expert, and enabling us to build deep insights for your institutional leaders that will support them in making decisions that assure the quality of the student experience. All of this together represents a virtuous cycle of continuous improvement. And in order to get to this point, we've invested time and resources in building this data engine. We've ensured that your SQL experts have access to this innovative technology and that you have ownership over your institution's data. But now it's time to support and empower institutional leadership. So what do we mean by institutional leadership? It's a broad term, so let's unpack it a little. What you see here are just some examples. There are, of course, differences across institutions, and you may use different terms for some of these. But what we're talking about here are the people in the institution with the responsibility for making key decisions that impact the student experience across the institution. Now we're going to enable these leaders to make data-informed decisions by building a comprehensive suite of analytics tools on top of Blackboard data across 3 key solution areas: learning, instruction, and institutional insights. And what's really exciting is that we're going to do this as standard and at no additional cost. At the same time, we know that some institutions will want more advanced functionality. And so for each of these 3 solution areas, we'll develop and deliver a number of premium options, giving you more choice and control. Finally, we have additional premium capabilities that will apply across the entire platform. These will typically support those institutions who are interested in building and distributing their own reporting content, adding data from additional data sources, and other more advanced requirements. So this modular approach means that each institution can choose its own level of investment and capability to meet its unique requirements and budget. Now let's unpack these 3 solution areas. In our conversations with clients, we've noticed that reporting needs tend to fall into these 3 areas: insights about student engagement and performance, instructional quality and practice, and institutional administration, efficiency and success. All the examples we've included on this slide will all be answered in the standard reporting that we'll provide at no additional cost to our SaaS clients who've enabled Blackboard data. So the obvious question is, when do I get it? And the answer is that we're currently targeting Q1 2022 for the standard reports across all 3 solution areas. We'll then continue to improve and add to these while simultaneously working on the premium functionality to launch later in 2022. Of course, these reports will only be available to regions that have reporting UI for Blackboard data, and regional parity is of course a priority for us. We aim to deploy the reporting UI for Blackboard data to the remaining AWS locations, Sydney, Singapore, and Canada, in the first half of 2022. We'll have more information to share on this later, but in the meantime, there are 3 key steps that you can take to prepare. First of all, enable Blackboard data. It just takes a support request via your system administrator in behind the Blackboard. And remember, this is included within your SaaS license at no additional cost. Secondly, set up institutional hierarchy and course terms that are going to drive the filtering in the application itself. We have some recorded sessions on the community site that can actually help you get started with this. Finally, register your interest for regular updates and an invitation to a preview webinar later on this year using the form that you can see on this slide. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
All right, good day, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Dan Laurie. I lead our product management team here at Blackboard for Ally. And today we have a really wonderful roadmap for all of you as part of TLC focused on Blackboard Ally. So let us jump in. First thing, please be aware that some of the capabilities, the timelines, and the visuals, they're subject to change. We try to do our best to communicate these ahead of time to keep you abreast. And for today's session, we're going to be covering updates for Blackboard Ally for LMS and for web. And Ally for LMS, a lot of the focus here is on course content accessibility from within your learning management system, while Ally for web focuses on accessibility of content on public web pages. And for each of these, we'll include some updates around recently released features, new capabilities that are going to be coming in the next few months, and then work that might stretch a little bit further into the future. So first, we're going to start off with a couple of technical updates related to Ally for LMS. So the first is adding LTI 1.3 integration support for Ally. And if you're not too familiar with LTI, this is the IMS standard that Ally uses to integrate into the LMS or the VLE. So this is going to be in addition to our current LTI 1.1 support that Ally provides today. So what does this actually mean? Well, first, it's important to note that LTI 1.3 doesn't materially impact or change the functionality of Ally. So things like reports, instructor feedback, alternative formats, they all continue to work the same. And for many institutions or universities, the primary driver for upgrading here is that the IMS has announced that they intend to no longer support what they call LTI legacy versions. So that includes LTI 1.1. And the timeline there for depreciation is in June 2022. And while we encourage institutions to upgrade, I want to stress that we're going to continue to fully support our current LTI integration as well as LTI 1.3 to give your institution, ample time and runway to make those changes when it makes the most sense to you. Another item to note is that if you use Moodle or OpenLMS as your LMS of choice, we're going to be working with the OpenLMS team to continue to make improvements here to add support in the future. But today, it's available for Learn, Canvas, D2L Brightspace. Next, if your institution uses Canvas for your LMS, we've introduced support for developer keys. And this is just a different new method of integration that Canvas provides to make, setup a little bit easier, but also give you some more flexibility and granular control to the permissioning that you provide to Ally or other applications. So this is available now, just like LTI 1.3. If you go to help.blackboard.com, we have a lot of documentation giving you all the right steps to make the change to developer keys, also LTI 1.3. All right, next, let's cover some work that's going to be coming later this year. And this is actually one that I'm very, very excited for coming up next. And today Ally does such a tremendous job at scanning course content, providing guidance on how to fix solutions, but there's still some places where we've yet to kind of fully realize the potential of Ally, specifically around WYSIWYG, rich text editor, HTML content. So this is going to be our next big area of focus that's currently in development. And I think this is really going to change the way that institutions, academics, content creators use Ally. This takes the same Ally that everyone knows and loves and improves on it. It turns the way Ally functions from one where you assess the accessibility after you create content into something that aids you during the content creation process. So specifically here, we're going to be introducing an extension to Ally that scores and provides guidance on WYSIWYG content or WYSIWYG tools. So if you have a piece of HTML content, for example, or a discussion board or an item in Blackboard Learn, maybe a page in Canvas, Ally will start to score and then also provide you guidance on how to fix that content. So we already do this for other areas of the course. And, we could just take the same approach Ally has in the past, but, we wanted to challenge ourselves a little bit. We wanted to see if there were different ways in which we could incorporate Ally to make a bigger impact to the workflows a content creator or instructor might have. So we're going to be introducing new features like live scoring, where your content editor or WYSIWYG editor updates live in real time. So as the content creator adds content, you're going to see that live score move up and down and also start to indicate, you can see that on the screenshot here with red kind of outlines where the issues are, right? We've kind of taken the same approach that you might have seen in Microsoft Word, where you see a little squiggly line over a word that might be misspelled. We're also going to be introducing automatic suggestions and batch remediation to make it really quick to fix issues. So for example, if you're using a particular style of text and background color, which may have, contrast problems, Ally is going to intelligently scan all the content on page, group those that are most in common, and then suggest changes, right? For instance, with color contrast, we'll suggest a palette of suggested colors that might meet the minimum contrast guidelines that you need to be accessible. So in 3 clicks, you'll be able to fix issues that have, maybe taken you a little bit longer in time to, 1, understand where they're occurring, 2, determine the appropriate place where the color contrast changes are needed, and then 3, implement them across all occurrences. So this will be coming later this year. And if you're interested in getting a preview of instructor WYSIWYG guidance, we've opened up signups for beta testing inside of our Blackboard Ally user group. And so for this beta, you'll be provided an account on one of our Ally sandbox environments. Well, you'll get access to a course that's preloaded with some content. You can also import your own content to test it out. And from there, you'll be able to provide us feedback or report a bug if you find it, all ahead of the general availability launch later this year. So if you're interested, head to our user group site at usergroup.ally.ac, where you'll find some more details. All right. Next, let's look at some work that's planned for the first part of 2022. So first, we're going to start with audio and video. So this is going to be another area of focus where we're going to be improving support for audio and video. And today, Ally can scan and identify YouTube videos, for example, and check if they have captions. But we want to extend that to other video sources, other tools like Blackboard Collaborate, or if you use third-party streaming tools, we want to incorporate scoring and accessibility as part of our course accessibility reports and also our institutional reports available in Ally. Alongside that, we're going to be adding the ability to provide captions directly for videos that can be requested through the LMS and Ally. We're also looking at ways we can incorporate some of Ally's AI technology to, intelligently scan videos and auto-generate things like a table of contents where you would be able to see the text that we've parsed through the video and then segment that into, clickable tables of content that change and progress or move the video when you click on it. All right, let's talk about some of our longer term highlights. So first, we're planning on improvements to the institutional report that, one, improve just the overall readability of the graph that shows the accessibility score and trend line over time. You can see that on screen right now. And this is where you see that aggregation and scoring breakdown for files and WYSIWYG content over time. And also, we're looking to introduce filtering options. For example, maybe you're only interested in data pertaining to, courses that have students enrolled, or perhaps you want to see courses that fall between a specific accessibility rating. Those are the types of options we're looking to introduce. And this will be another area where we'll be continuously engaging with the Ally community to generate and validate ideas. Next, we also have some updates planned to help grow our set of accessibility checklist items with a particular focus on mobility. So this will include items like orientation, which notes if your device is in landscape or portrait mode, but also the reflowing of content. You might also know this as responsive design, as well as things like text spacing. So this includes, line height, paragraph spacing, letter and word spacing. And then finally, on our Ally for LMS roadmap, we also have a few other miscellaneous items, including enhancing our CSV exports to include more detail like departmental scores, improving, and in some cases, automating fixes of items like PDFs that might not have a title or a set language. And when it comes to fixing or remediating content, we're looking at ways that we can suggest improvements to content that can be used in other courses or departments. And then we have a handful of other items, such as additional support for D2L's new learner experience, and also ways to improve the management of courses that are copied over term to term, and how we can better retain information related to things like alternative text in the course content. All right, next, let's talk about Ally for websites. If you're not familiar with Ally for websites, it's a separate solution where we've taken some of the same advanced scanning and machine learning techniques that we use in Ally for LMS, but apply them to public web content to help improve the accessibility of that web content. So let's start off with a few items on our short-term roadmap. So first, improving guidance and feedback. So earlier this year, we introduced a series of feedback and guidance updates for HTML, things like heading structure or broken links. Next, we're going to be adding additional guidance for files, specifically Microsoft Office and LibreOffice. A little bit longer term, we'll also be looking to continue our work on guidance for HTML. where the focus would be improving the guidance related to specific CMS platforms like Drupal or WordPress, giving you more guidance on how to actually fix those accessibility issues in those platforms. And today, Ally for Web supports public websites that don't require authentication to access the content. In the future, we're going to be looking to include content that may reside, behind password protection. So Ally will be able to support a fuller range of public and private content. A few other items to mention for Ally for Web. First, domain scoring. So you'll be able to see the evolution and trend of the accessibility score, not just for your entire website, but also split into different domains or subdomains. And then second is rescan on demand, which gives your institution some more control on content scanning when it occurs, specific domains. So you can see updates that you make on your web page. You'll see them appear on Ally's reporting in a little bit more of a timely fashion. All right, so that concludes our quick roadmap for today, but I'm going to leave you with a few more items. First, I want to mention that we have a free online course through Blackboard Academy that covers equity and inclusion in higher education. And I also want to mention that we have a recently released book of Ally that kind of stitches together all the discoveries, insights that we've made over the years with Ally on our own journey to inclusion. Both of these are available by going to the links noted on screen, tinyurl.com/BD Ally course, and then go.blackboard.com/book of Ally. And finally, if you're new to Ally or accessibility, or maybe you're a little bit further along on your journey, our user group is a great place to engage. And you can find that on usergroup.ally.ac. So that concludes our roadmap session for today. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a really great rest of your day. Bye-bye.